Danica, look, Australia Day. You've got Sydney Police preparing to facilitate another anti-Australia Day march next week. There's going to be one in Melbourne as well. Don't these Hate Australia protests seem off to you after Bondi?
Well, yeah, I do think they are particularly off after the attack on Bondi. But in general, Andrew, I think it's off completely. It's actually very offensive to, I would say, the majority of Australians who love this country, love our values and are proud to be Australians. Now, if you are going to be taking part in these protests, I would ask yourself, why on earth do you want to be here? Because if you don't love this country, the door is open. You can leave anytime you want. Because in the end, we get to wake up, Andrew, on Australia Day on the 26th of January, not in the third world. We're not in a war zone. We're not fighting for our freedoms like they are right now in Iran, because we have already got our freedoms. Yet here we go again. Of course, the self-loathing starts up again. And, well, we can't be surprised. I mean, the Prime Minister still stands in front of three flags. You've got companies across the country offering employees an opportunity to work on Australia Day if they wish. And once again, it's this progressive left that are just trying to infiltrate our values, infiltrate everything that we stand for, and trying to completely wipe out what British settlers brought to this country. And it's about time we stand up for our values. And I think if Bondi taught us anything, is that we should love our country and fight for our freedoms and fight for those values. Though I have to say, a report from the IPA yesterday suggested that 75% of Australians actually want to celebrate Australia Day on January 26th. So I do wonder if the tide's turning. But I do agree, it is completely off given the events of Bondi.
Chris, it is weird, isn't it? This alliance. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, you've seen it in Melbourne quite often. You've got Palestinian flags being flown with Aboriginal flags, not Australian flags. The merging of causes here. But Australia to be under assault from so many people that seem to hate its very existence, and I'm including, non-Muslim, born here, white Australians that have been indoctrinated into a contempt for this country. I think it is dangerous.
Well, as you say, Andrew, including a lot of generational Australians. And there is a stark difference when you go to citizenship ceremonies on Australia Day to those councils that still opt to have them on Australia Day, because don't forget, a lot of councils refuse to have citizenship ceremonies on Australia Day or Australia Day ceremonies. But people who come here as migrants, they are so excited to be Australian. They're so excited to celebrate their first Australia Day and get out the Australian flag and have a barbecue with their family in the backyard. It is really exciting for them, and they're so proud to join and be part of our culture. And it is so sad to see people from generational families in this country marching in the streets against Australia Day. And look, I think we have all learnt with time history and what some of that history means to people, but that doesn't mean that we can outright reject all the good history that has come along with that as well while we develop an understanding. I'm not for any changing of the date, Andrew and Danica. I know there's a movement on it, and if I was the head of human resources or the head of people at a corporate, that would not be the top of my list for staff retention and attraction, I can tell you that.
Danica, meanwhile, you've got China reminding us again that it's a new friendship era with Australia, with the Albanese government, is a fraud. Instead, it's threatened Australia yet again. This time, its ambassador says Australia had better support Communist China taking over democratic Taiwan because, and I'm quoting, the Chinese people, he means the communist dictatorship, will not forgive anyone that attempts to obstruct or undermine the process of reunification. And he adds, falsely, that Taiwan is actually a province of China, just as Tasmania is a state of Australia. So Australia can't defend a fellow democracy or else. But there's no reaction to this from our government.
Oh, no, well, we can hardly be surprised that there's no reaction because remember Anthony Albanese, Andrew, we've got to remember this. He is the handsome boy from Australia and he never wants to upset the Chinese. So, no, we can't be surprised that Labor has had no comment. But, you know, it's funny because, well, firstly, I don't know what Tasmania and Taiwan have in common. We aren't seeking to invade Tasmania, even though they are off our mainland as such, but we're not looking to invade Tasmania. But the second point I would make is that Anthony Albanese has spent so much time in China. China. He's had multiple visits with Xi Jinping. He, took photos with the Great Wall, had a photo with a panda, was, serenaded by the Chinese military band last year. And where did it get him? It got him absolutely nowhere, because China are still threatening us, as they have been for the past few years, whether it be the military near misses, whether it be the Chinese vessels sending off flares off our coast, whether it be the punitive tariffs. And now we've got the ambassador basically saying, well, if you're not with us, you're against us. So Labor has gotten absolutely nowhere. In the time that they've spent cozying up to China, they could have actually been cozying up to our number one ally, the United States.
I think so. Danica De Giorgio, Chrissy McSweeney, thank you very much to you both.